Hola, hola, Coca-Cola. We are in week 3 of remote learning, and this is our second asynchronous lesson for the week. We'll be diving into American civilizations. So let's go. Where have we been? Where are we going? Here's our class roadmap for the Global Tapestry Unit 1. We started the Global Tapestry Unit from 1200 to 1450, diving into China. Our big focus in this unit is understanding how states form. What methods of state formation are they using? And over here in China, we talked about the civil service exam, the idea of bureaucracies and the tribute systems, and the use of religion like Confucianism. We then went to the Islamic Empire, where we also noticed that they used religion, they used education, the House of Wisdom, decentralized sultanates in order to rule their empire. And over in Africa, we noticed that religion, along with the expansion of the arts, culture, Mansa Musa as a centralized leader, and education, additionally, and how could I forget the gold salt trade, also helped expand these empires and lead for state to state formation, both in West Africa and then in the Swahili coast as well, with the expansion of trade along the Indian Ocean. So today our job is to dive over into the Western Hemisphere. What the heck is going on over here in the Americas? And when I'm specifically talking about the Americas for this course, we're going to be talking about the Aztecs and the Incas. What is going on with the Aztec and the Inca empires in the Americas, and how are they consolidating power and allowing for what we call hegemony, which is power? So the interesting thing that I love to begin with, and I love to begin with this primarily because this is how civilizations in America were depicted when I was in high school. And it wasn't until I got to college that I really started to break down these myths and these stereotypes. But often images of the Americas are images like this: a person represented, a bow and arrow, a tail growing from their backside. Words such as savages are used to depict who lived in the Americas instead of the use of the term indigenous peoples. We focus on human sacrifice and how barbaric that is, rather than understanding the cultural values of the people in the Americas. The term Indian, misrepresented. People in the Americas are not Indian. They are not from the country of India. Who are they? And a lot of times we see and hear quotes such as this by Tomas Ortiz, who's a Dominican priest. He said, on the mainland, they eat human flesh. They are more given to sodomy than any other nation. There's no justice among them. They go naked. They have no respect either for love or for virginity. They are stupid and silly. They have no respect for truth, save when it is to their advantage. They are unstable. They have no knowledge of what foresight means. They are incapable of learning. Our job today is to really defy that, to challenge this European single story of American civilizations and complexify how specifically the American civilizations of the Incas and the Aztecs had strong, unified empires that defy this notion of inability to learn and inability to have a strong empire. So our aim today is superstars will be able to identify with evidence 3 ways American civilizations demonstrated strength and diversity from 1200 to 1450 to disprove this European single story. We already did our opening little beat the single story. We're going to go into a little video lecture notes. I'm going to ask you guys to take out your notebooks. And on the next slide, we're going to take a couple notes on the Incas and the Aztecs. So the first thing we need to know is just geography. These two places are significantly different. So in your notes, you guys can make a T chart, one side that says Incas and one side that says Aztecs. On the left side of this image, you can see what's called Tenochtitlan, surrounded by water. This is the Aztecs. The Aztecs are located in modern-day Mexico in what's known as the Valley of Mexico, which is Mexico City. As a result, they had to adapt to that geography in different ways than the Incas did. They're going to create things called floating gardens like chinampas. It's going to change their access to different resources and goods. It's going to change the way in which they conquer other people. And this big city of Tenochtitlan is going to be the headquarters of the Aztec Empire. Whereas in the image on the right, you'll see it's quite mountainous. The Incas exist in modern day Peru along the Andes Mountains. So as a result, this empire is going to form differently as well in terms of using things like the Mita system, terrace farming to grow food, a tribute system as well, having a more unified, maybe centralized ruler over this empire, What about roads? How are we going to get from one mountain peak to the other? So let's take a dive into the videos. You're going to watch two videos in the next couple slides, one for the Incas and one for the Aztecs. And I want you guys to jot down in your T-chart more background information about these different places through the lens of state formation. How did the Incas and how did the Aztecs allow for these strong empires to be built in Mexico and in the Andes Mountains of South America?